What up, y'all? It's DJ Envy from the Breakfast Club.
Yeah. We are the original weird niggas from the basement.
It's your boy LeAnn Hall. Stay tuned for another episode of RTS Spotlight.
Shout out to respect the shooters. They owe me $100 for that drop. Salute.
A lot of niggas say they your friends, man, but don't support shit you do. Don't get no money with you. I guess me and my niggas is different. I've been getting money with my team. I just wanna see all my niggas win. Hey, feeling like I make them chasing dreams. And for my squad, I just want one thing. I want my niggas to win. I want my niggas to win. No, we making hella bands. Cup in the corner with friends. I want my niggas to win. I want my niggas to win. Everybody diamonds dancing. Everybody got mansions. Came from days in the basement. Me and my niggas ain't had shit. Got $1 in my pocket, that was tragic. Started falling like Jordan, we came upon the law. My niggas, we made it go, get more guns, get more dough. We came up from nothing, had to turn nothing to something. Now we only interviewing the curtains, zipping on Prometheus and feel it working. All my niggas living lavish, all this money never had this. Money harder than a bad bitch, do say pull up in the M6. We had to grind hard, started from the back. Blink my nigga ASAP and he started hustle hats. Blink my nigga Swagger, you know he rap TBP. And I'ma be a monster nigga, that just who I be, yeah. I've been getting money with my team. I just wanna see all my niggas win. Hey, feeling like I make them chasing dreams. And for my squad, I just want one thing. I want my niggas to win. I want my niggas to win.
What up, y'all? It's your girl Lee, and you already know it's another episode of RTS Spotlight. Unfortunately, it is the last episode of the first season, but thank you all for tuning in with us and keeping up for the whole season. We're gonna hop right into a video, and then we will share our special guest for today. But check it out.
I got money and women like a money mine. Your girls dream like a magic mind. Turning up to the sunlight. Hey, we about to have a good night. A good night. Let's have a good night. A good night. Let's have a good night. A good night. Let's have a good night. A good night. I need a good night. Had a real long flight. I need a pill in the blunt. I need some rock with the Sprite. I need a girl that like girls, but she can't ride bikes. I'm turning all the way up. My blunts rolled up tight. It's Kush. Yeah, I like the roll. She like the sip. She hella thick, my type of chick. Don't talk a lot, but when she do, she pop that ish. Her and her friends walk in the building, make it lit. So let's get lit like yeah, my switch is going down. I need a pound, I break it down, I roll it up. You like that girl, you see that girl, then pull her up. She like Henny when she not, teleport it up. Finish 3 cups, still not enough, I'ma roll this green. Don't do the lean, she gon' bust it till she pop the seams. Out of all main G, taking pictures for the Insta fiends. A play a dream, one night only shots on me. That's suicide, hope she down to ride. You smoking? Is you sipping with your vixens? Blue dot and juice we mixing. Taking shots like competition, let me know. You smell me walking through the door, and I came to have fun. We taking shots like free throw. You say that you down, and Kush is what I roll a lot. If you wanna go, strap your seat and we can go all night. The way she move her body, I can tell she got this dish a lot. Hope she don't get scared, we turn up with every liquor shot. Let me see you take a shot. Throw it back and take a shot. Hold her head while I take a shot. All night we take, don't waste that liquor. We get more liquor. Private dancer, she gon' work a figure. Then get a figure, sipping to the slow motion kick in. Fast living, blood flicking. I'm the man around here. These still gender switching. I don't need no bodyguard. key, then we can go all night. The way she move her body, I can tell she practice this a lot. Hope she don't get scared. We turn up with every liquor shot. Shot, 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 shot. Let me see you take a shot. Shot, 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 shot. Throw it back and take a shot. Shot, 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 shot. Hold it here while I take a shot. Shot, 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 shots. All night we take it. Shots, shots. Let me see you take it. Shot, shot. Throw it back and take a shot. Just like Diddy take that. Shot, shot. Just like Diddy take that. Shot, shot. It's Kush. A-Train.
What up, y'all? It's your girl Lee, and you already know that was Kush Lee. He was in the building with us a couple weeks ago, and he gave us a dope interview. Always shuts it down on stage, and those videos always keep me hype. But today, we have a very prestigious character in this industry here today. Amadeus is in the building. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Thank you for blessing our set today.
Thank you for having me. I
Couldn't
appreciate
think
it.
of anyone else to end the season
Man.
with but you.
That's big shoes to fill right there, man. I don't know. I don't know how much.
What size do you wear?
Depends on the day. Depends on if I'm wearing socks. Tonight is the ankles out tonight. So
The ankles.
you know, we rolling.
That's what we're trying to do today with the vibe.
You
The
know,
nice
they
ankle vibe.
greased up and everything. That was very important.
Now, what temperature do you bring out the ankles? Do you bring them out at like 75?
You
Or
know,
do you
it's-
wait till the 90?
I'm new to it. I ain't gonna lie. I'm new to
Okay.
it. Today I really brought them out for the first time. Rolled the pants up.
I'm new to it.
Yeah, I'm new to it. You know, I got out the car and got into the car into the Uber and I felt the AC. You know,
Okay.
it's a little
Right.
cold down there,
Okay.
but I think I made it.
So just like a good combo with like shea butter and you good? Or is it like an oil?
Like a Eucerin joint. Like a Eucerin.
Got it.
You know,
Something more
intense repair. So if Eucerin, if you're watching, you know, that endorsement will be dope.
Nice little small.
They're pretty expensive.
Listen,
You know what I mean?
We need it. Okay. Thank you for joining us
Thank you for
today.
having me. Thank you so much.
We're used to having, rappers, a
Okay.
couple songwriters have been up here,
Okay.
a couple artists, who do like to produce and dibble and dabble.
Okay.
But you are official tissue.
I'm trying out
Okay.
here.
We know.
I'm trying out
We
here.
like the humble types, but we're here to get to know you. So we're going to see what's up with you.
All right, I'm with it.
How long have you been, I want to say producing, but did it start differently for you?
It started with me learning an instrument, which is drums, and I started in 4th grade. My parents sacrificed, sent me to Catholic school all my life, and I was absent on the day that we were to choose instruments. I really wanted to learn how to play the saxophone and the trumpet. And my mom, let me stay home, and it's crazy because she never lets me stay home. But on this day, she let me stay home. So when I showed up the next day, the slots were gone. Only thing left was the violin and percussion. Now I'm from the Bronx. I'm from 169th Washington Avenue. I'm from the Jacks. I'm from the 9. The last thing I was going to be doing was walking through my hood with a violin case. So I didn't even know what percussion meant. I just said, we're going to just go with that.
Okay.
Got in the room, and it was drums. And I never touched drums before ever. I loved music. I was always a music lover. But, I had coordination and everything. My teacher played. I played right after him. And slowly but surely, I just started to fall in love with the instrument. And I became very passionate about it. Started to try to be a rapper. We just going to fast forward like you ain't never even heard that.
Okay.
And, me being a drummer had, everything to do with rhythm and sound. And so it's like, well, why not become a producer?
Right.
And a few of my colleagues and friends in the game was kind of like trying to push me to be more behind the scenes and trying to protect me from the whole artistry rapper thing,
Right.
That spotlight, that superstar, just be behind the scenes. And I tried it. And again, just like I fell in love with drums, I started falling in love with, producing and making beats,
Now, see, the thing about it is people don't really pay attention to the producers.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
We got the DJ Khaled's and the celebrity, producers and DJs out here now.
Right.
But, nobody really searches the producer when they're trying to find
They
their
used to,
favorite
though.
song. They
They used to. I'm about 17, 18 years in.
Okay.
And, when I would purchase a CD, no matter if I'm going to go back, when I used to purchase a cassette tape,
Nice.
the
Yeah.
real one, not the
bring
bootleg,
it.
when I went to
And
like
you
the
from the
Wiz, I'm
Bronx.
from the Bronx, so yeah. So the first thing I would do was read the credits because I wanted to know who I was listening to. Like, who made this beat, who did this, who's singing on it, who wrote it. That was what I did first before I even listened to the album.
Right.
And, so that was very popular back then. So producers definitely got their recognition. They got their credit. We were paid very well. No begging, no arguing, no fighting. Like,
Right.
You know, Sony Studios, which closed down, of course, Hit Factory, all of those different studios here in New York.
That's true.
You know, there were budgets. Like for artist sessions, there were budgets, and you know, you would get your producer fee, but then there was a budget for you to record that song and mix that song, and you know, the producers would take part in that process. So I would go get a car service, there and back home that the label paid for. Order all I tried all type of food because you know the studio would have a big binder of all the restaurants, and anything you ordered was taken care of.
Wow.
So from bottles, liquor, you know,
Everything.
juices, drinks, I ordered all kind of stuff, all kind of snacks, all kind of desserts, and when it's on the label, you know, nowadays it's like, you know, there's no more CDs, there's no more cassette tapes, there's no more going to the store and purchasing. Everything is online, everything is streaming from Apple Music to iTunes to Spotify. So it's just different. So like you said, the recognition, the admiration, the respect that was once there is kind of like lingering. It's not really existing anymore because no one's really paying attention to that. And it's not, the information is not available and as accessible as it was before, you know, when I first was producing. So it's challenging. It's very challenging.
Now with progression, right, we always like to blame everything on technology. And I'm the 90s baby who's didn't get all the 90s, so I didn't see the technology change too much. I didn't grow up with a phone in my hand, you know what I mean?
Right.
But you're 17 years, 18 years deep. Did you see the absolute change in the music industry?
yeah.
Because you started when you was 4.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And at the end of the day, music when I was 4 still ain't the music when you was 4.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So seeing that recognition, seeing the way you grew up and picking up those cassette tapes, you know, you started seeing them CDs came out.
Right.
And you started
Right.
realizing I can't even get a cassette no more.
That's right. That's true. Yeah.
Did that change your entrance in the industry with that?
No, you know, you just got to be able to evolve and to adjust to whatever's happening. You know,
Right.
just like the technology changes, as you mentioned, the sound and the styles of music changes as well. So you got to be, you know, I say it all the time, you got to be able to adapt. You know, I'm from the Bronx, I'm from New York, so my first production was boom bap, hard drums, hard, you know, samples and loops, and then, you know, you have artists from different regions, artists from different places around the world, you know. So I had to challenge myself creatively to be able to tap into those different genres and different styles according to where each artist were from. You know, so, you know, me working with Game and Paul Wall and Mike Jones and T.I. and Jeezy from Atlanta, and you know what I'm saying? So
Different
it
sound.
just goes to show you how if you can evolve and adapt to whatever the sound is, you know, then you can win it, and you can, you know, better your chances of working with any type of artist, you know, from and I, you know, if I work with artists from Italy and Europe and, you know, different places, because music is worldwide and it's all communication, it's all expression, and the more you travel, you get to experience that. You know, like Japan, they don't speak English, but they'll sing every single word, you know, to your song, and it's like, wow, it's amazing to see how powerful music is.
Right. Where's the first place you ever traveled to outside the U.S.?
Well, my parents was big on like vacations.
Okay, you were
So,
one of those kids.
you know, so we did like Florida and you know, Disney World. And,
Right.
and it's funny, you saw Home Alone?
Yes.
So remember how they were like running and chasing the planes and not wanting to miss out? So we had a Home Alone moment, and we were running and we were taking Amtrak down, right? So there was a big escalator, the train was there, and they was like rushing us. So we had this suitcase that was tall and that you would push. It was like a big sack. So my dad, you know, couldn't lift it and couldn't get it down, so he just kicked the joint. And the joint went tumbling down and made it to the end, and he ran down the escalator, and we made the train. And that was like our Home Alone. I don't even remember how old I was, but I remember that moment of us, you know, traveling to, you know, Florida. And
That's funny.
the one thing about my parents, they, you know, they sacrificed a lot, and, you know, for our education, for us to learn how they saw fit is the best way to learn. You know, not taking anything away from public school, but they just had a vision and they stuck to it. But we always figured out a way to enjoy ourselves. You know, on the weekends, we might go to like Pizza Hut or like, you know, Playland. And we had this little brown Oldsmobile that I hated. So every time I got into the car, I cried because it was just not hot. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, just thinking back to those times, and I never really even talked about a lot of these times. And so people are hearing it for the first time, just like you are. And just, you know, just amazing moments that I look back on and can appreciate, because those moments, you know, it all affects you creatively when you think about it in the long run. Even though I was a child, I can still remember that story and still tell that story. And, you know, so I think Florida's the first place I visited. As an adult, man, I don't even remember, you know, because, you know, touring with Trey Songz and 10 years of touring with Trey Songz, and
Right.
we've been a lot of places, all throughout the United States, of course,
Couple places,
Australia.
a couple times.
Yeah, Australia, Japan, Africa. I remember I thought Africa was just a big jungle.
Yeah, where was y'all at in Africa? Do you
We
remember?
went to Durban, Johannesburg,
Okay.
Namibia. Went to a few places. I'm missing a few. Nigeria. And each place was different. Each place was different, but the love was the same. You know what I mean? It
that's
was like
beautiful.
welcome home. It was like, welcome
Yeah.
home, my brother. You know what I mean?
That's
And it was just
awesome.
dope. And they looked just like us. You know, it
All of
wasn't
us?
yeah.
They all look like all of us.
All of us, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Like they popping, they got the Nike joints, they were doing the ankle
They had
out.
the
You know what I'm
ankle- I
saying?
was about to say, they had the
ankle
ankles
out, the
out.
hats, the shades,
dope.
Jordans, like just dope, man. And if if you're blessed, and for those that are tuned in, if you have an opportunity to travel, man, travel. It's so much more to life and the world
Wow, you
other
can.
than your block or other than your hood. You know what I mean? And
Right.
you love your hood, I love my hood, but it's so much out there
a
for you to
blessing
see.
you got to travel.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Now, you're from the Bronx.
Yeah.
Growing up in the Bronx, right?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so there's the ball players.
Mm-hmm.
There's the musicians. Then there's the dope boys.
Right.
How'd you fall into the musician category
Great
and
question.
stay there?
I was forced to because my parents ain't play, man. The dope part about my neighborhood was that my parents grew up there as well, and their parents grew up there. So everybody knew everybody. Everybody knew, who our parents were, and you couldn't do nothing out there without, it getting back to your parents. And
Right.
and I feared and respected, both of my parents. They didn't play no game. My pops would pull out a belt and get to work.
Easy.
You know what I'm saying? Which
Right.
is something that's missing today, where you can't, get them kids that beat down they need, and that's why everybody running around crazy. And there's no respect for the parents and for the elderly because of that. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like the government are raising our kids now. But back when we was coming up, you got to know home from school. Go get the belt. You pick.
If the note even got
Oh, yeah.
home
Oh, yeah.
before you got home.
Right. You're finished. You're finished. So they didn't play, and they kept us busy. I would want to go outside and play, and they would kind of let me outside to play, but it was timed. Everything was timed. Everything was right there. I got time, 5 minutes to go to the corner store because that's the environment that I grew up in. I didn't get it. I just wanted to be out. The girls was out there. The fellas was playing ball. People was rapping. I heard the DJs was out. I wanted to be out just like
It's sad
everybody
to
else.
say, but now we definitely get it.
Oh, I definitely get it. So that kept me, and very spiritual parents. Went to church every Sunday.
Nice.
So I was always sped spiritually from church, from them, and then the school I went to was Catholic, slightly different in faith because we grew up Baptist,
Right.
and then we changed from Baptist to Pentecostal. But all similar, everyone believing in God and
Definitely.
Jesus Christ, just different details,
Right.
different details. So that's what saved me, man. And I felt like music definitely saved my life. And once I fell in love with it and became committed to it, that's all I wanted to do.
That's
If the DJ was out, that's the only time I really wanted to go out. If
Yeah.
the DJ was out, just to watch him and just to hear what he would play. And even though my mom didn't let me out, I sat at the window. I was on the fourth floor, 4C. And I couldn't see him because he was under like there's like a ledge
Yeah.
that blocked the door, so I couldn't see him, but I could
Could
hear him. And his name is DJ Copo. You know what I'm saying? And first
up.
DJ I ever heard, DJ
Wow.
Copo. Yeah.
Now, did you grow up playing drums in the church at all?
The church thing kind of came after the fact.
Okay.
I probably didn't really start playing in church about 6th or 7th, 8th grade maybe, if that.
Okay.
And it was crazy because I went to a church different from the one I grew up in, because the one I grew up in didn't have drums, just organ and piano. So when I finally got to hear
Oh, yeah,
drums
you
in the
became
church, I
Pentecostal.
was like, chill.
It's a different
So that's
sound.
what I can sound like if I applied myself
Yes.
and practice and really fell in love with my instrument. And that was my epiphany. That was like, oh, okay,
Right.
this is real. And that's when I really fell in love with it and fell in love with musicianship and drums and just everything that had to do with music on a musician, from a musician point of view.
Right.
So that was the start for me.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Now, was it like a exploratory type of thing for you with the drums? Or did it become something you was just playing in school and then after a certain point you just, you stuck with it?
Yeah, once I think for me, once I was introduced to it in that first class, and the teacher played the pattern, was like, I just want to see who can do this. And he
Right.
played the drum pattern, and everybody, it was about five or six other students in the room. Everybody got on, couldn't do it, and for some reason I did it, right? got up, tried it again. And I did it. And I'm like, okay. You know, no love for the instrument, no, just I'm going to do whatever he do so I can get out of this class and get to lunch because I had lunch next. You know what I'm saying? But I just kept being able to, you know, mimic whatever he did on the drums. And even he said it. And he was like, I think you got something here, man. You know, I don't know if you into it like that, but if you apply yourself and really focus and take this seriously, like, I feel like you can go somewhere. And I heard him loud and clear. And each and every day, once I got into class, I would do it. And then once I started seeing the amazement on the faces of, you know, the other students, you know, it was like a adrenaline rush. Like, oh, y'all think I'm dope? And that's not even the word we was probably even using coming up, but y'all think I'm fat. You know what I'm saying? They think I'm fat. And fat, not like big,
like
for,
big,
you know,
not
for
big,
youngins
y'all.
out there, but fat like dope, fat like
dope.
cool.
Fat used to mean dope.
Yeah.
With the PH?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, PHAT.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for youngins out there. But yeah, that was, you know, that was the love. That's when I first realized that I can be something. And then once I got to church and saw what can really be done, because the teacher was like more of a jazz musician.
Church drumming is different.
Church drumming different. No rules, just, you know, let the spirit use you, let the spirit flow. You know what I'm saying? It's a place where you can go and just whatever gift and talent you have, it just ain't no rules to it. Ain't no right or wrong way to do it. So
do
that
you
was
feel
how I
like
felt.
the drumming with the because I know my brother definitely grew up playing drums in the church as well, and that spontaneity, first off, you got to catch it. You got to catch a keyboard person. You got to catch everybody.
Right.
Do you tune into that when you're traveling with Trey?
Oh yeah, that's what makes me me. Like, you know, that's what make any musician coming out of the church, you just have an advantage.
Right.
And like you said, that seasoning and that fine tuning that you get from the church, you can't get that nowhere. I don't care what school you go to. I don't care what degree you have. Like that's like the real boot camp right there.
Right.
Because, you know, it's the flow of the spirit. You know what I'm saying? It's moving on what you feel God is saying or what you hear God is telling you to share with, you know, the congregation or the church. So, you know, you can't practice that. It's just something that comes and develops. So when you tour with a musician or an artist, you know, playing different music, R&B, hip hop, it's a piece of cake because of what you've been through. Like the pastor can say, I want to do this song. And in the middle of that song, he or she can say, switch to that, slow it down, you know, and you're watching every move, every moment of the pastor or the minister of music for direction. So that's the advantage that I have. So when I'm you know, performing with Trey as his music director as well, I'm kind of orchestrating the show with him. So people laugh at me when they see me because I'm like this.
Looking like you
like,
ain't get out.
It's just like it's like a lion in the jungle that sees prey. It's like and I'm watching him and I'm watching his fingers and I'm watching his legs and I'm watching his hands because everything matters. So like as a fan and as a person that's coming to see the show, he could be performing and rocking and at the same time going like this. I know what that means. You know what that means. You know, this means keep going. It don't mean keep going to the music world.
Right.
Because that's really not this would mean, you know, he in church, this would mean keep going. So he goes like that, and that means keep going. Or he might give us a signal to stop. Or he might, you know, so it's all kind of, but that comes from experience from the church, of course, but then being so tuned into him as an artist that I just get it. Like I just know, sometimes you just know where to go without him saying a word. Just off of vibe and just off of energy or just off of seeing what the crowd movement is like or what their response is to a certain record. It might not, we might have to go to the next song. We have to skip 2 songs or replace, you know, the first song with the last song. And all of these cues and all of these moments happen at shows and the fans have no idea.
They're so subtle.
No idea. But that's what makes it so dope and experience so dope that, you know, we're putting on the best show possible for you guys, putting it together. But, you know, I can be getting cussed out, man.
It's true. Over here, he doing all this, and you get
I definitely get cussed out. And I'm the leader, I'm the boss, so it's like, you know, when it comes to the band, like, so any mess up, any mistake is like, you know. So I don't get in trouble too much though, because you know the vibe and the energy. Like I said, we've been together for 10 years. So and before we toured with Trey, I've been playing with these guys in church. Okay. So I've developed, you know.
So you know these guys?
Oh yeah.
That was gonna be my next question.
Oh, yeah.
Do you switch it up? Is there times where everybody gets sick and it's just
well,
like
we've had moments where you know musicians might have another gig or a church function, a family emergency, and we have to you know swap out. It doesn't happen often, but for the few times, you know, the musicians is a big world of family. Okay. So you know, hey, the guitarist, my brother Ricky, couldn't do it, and he'll call it his, and then they'll send someone who they feel is responsible and they feel can get the job done just like them or better. You know, you never want to, you know, be intimidated with your spot and put someone that's not as great as you or greater to fulfill a job saying, okay, well, what if I lose my spot? If you dope at what you do, and we have such a family unit, it's like, you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
But be dope so that, you know, if something go wrong, you be like, well, you put him here.
Yeah.
So what you trying to, you know what I'm saying? What you trying to make my show look crazy? Like,
Exactly.
So, you know, but yeah, it's these definitely my brothers. Definitely my brothers.
That's what's up. Now, coming up, how does this become? Because, you know, everybody knows the whole modeling thing and the whole rapping thing. You know, you come up, you meet your network, you practice, you literally practice, you know. But when does that resume start for you as a I want to say as a musician?
Right. See, the musician thing for me, you know, I was just playing in church. I was just playing in church and school, like, you know, and really making a name for myself in church, you know, because there's a whole church world. You know, like I was at an event last night. Oh, yeah. I went to an event last night in Queens and ran into a drummer friend of mine that was playing at another church. So, you know, church fellowship with one another.
Right.
We visited another church, their church visit, and I haven't seen him in years.
Wow.
And he walked in and I'm like, yo. And he's like, yo, man, I'm so proud of you, man. I remember when we was little dudes and, you know, we was getting in trouble for laughing and cutting jokes during the sermons. Oh, I was crazy. You know, and because all I wanted to do was play. I came on nothing else. Just wanted to play. And I ran into him and saw him, and he's like, wow, man, it's amazing to see, you know, what you've become all of these years. And, you know, I didn't know you did any of this. I just saw you as, you know, the drummer.
Right.
And that's, you know, pretty much how it started for me. But the production is really what took it to the next level.
Right.
And allowed me to even meet Trey. You know, I was working on a record with Mike Jones, and we had Trey featured on it. And he came, and we were all in Houston working on the record, and it was a drum set in the corner. And I just was like, yo, I play drums. Mike and Trey both laughed, was in tears. And I'm like, yo, not for real, though. Like, you liking these beats now? I mean, I'm telling you, on a kit is a different animal, right? Both laughed. So I was like, all right, cool. You know what? The music you're making, you're going to need a live band one day. This is his first album, Braid's first album out. So you're going to need a live band whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready, hit me, right? Went back to the record, left it alone. A year later, his manager called and was like, are you ready to put the band together? I was like, no. I don't know nothing about putting no band together. I just said it. I was just saying
I play drums.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
And, you know, that was the moment of how the touring began. Because I was already producing. I had already produced for a lot of artists already. So I had a decent resume, you know, under my belt at that time. But in regards to the musicianship, all I did was play at church.
Right.
So that was the beginning of the musician side in regards to touring. And he gave me a chance. And I mean, 10 years from BET Awards to Jimmy Kimmel's show, 106 in Park, Essence Fest, Summer Jam. Like, you know, there's not too many places that, you know, or stages that we haven't performed on. So for me just saying, let me put the band together. Because you got to think, you know, he's never had a band. I never put one together. Right. So it's the perfect situation because we both learn and we both grow together. Exactly. You don't know what you're doing. I don't know what I'm doing, but we love music.
Right.
You make amazing music. I play. I got a crew play and that'll make your music sound crazy live. Let's put it together. And that's what he did. So, you know, it's a blessing. And it's all about opportunity. It's all about giving people a chance and people a shot. And he never heard me play. It ain't like I send him videos. It ain't like, check this out. He just went off of what I said to him.
Right.
You know, so for those that are tuned in, it's like, man, you know, you got to speak things into existence. Everything I'm doing, I said it, and people laughed, and people thought it was a joke. They thought it was funny. Yeah, I said I was gonna be part of Puff. I said I was gonna work with Jay-Z. I said I was gonna work with Busta Rhymes, and you know, one of our first tours with Trey Songz, opened up for Jay-Z on the Blueprint 3 tour. After that, opened up for Usher on the OMG tour. Busta, we did about 6 or 7 songs together. You know, I'm a bad boy hitman producer, signed to Diddy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So everything I said, you know, I'm doing it.
It's like, you know those tissues that you get where it's like 2 comes out, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're like the golden one, like the one that comes out, and then you're like, oh snap, this is the one I wanted.
Right.
Yeah, official.
Official tissue.
Official tissue. The nice one with the ankles out. Now, my biggest thing, right, because this is what I like. I like to get to know you and see, you know, where you've come from, because that's what the fans want to know too. You know, they appreciate you more and your talent when they know that you work to get there.
Right.
Amadeus, right? There was the 4-year-old Okay, the kid that was playing drums.
Right.
Then there's Amadeus.
Right.
When did you wake up him?
That's a good question. I remember being in class and we were forced to watch the Amadeus movie.
Okay.
Piss, by the way. Piss.
Not the best
I'm
movie.
gonna tell you why I liked it though. I'm telling you I was wild. I
Okay.
liked it because, you know, in school, in order to watch the movie, you gotta turn the lights out. So when they turn the lights out, I would go find one of the chicks in class, try to sit next to one of the girls in class and try to talk the whole time. Right? Movie came on, got in trouble, of course.
Of course.
Antoine, which is my real name. Pay attention. Watch the movie. Watching the movie, and I'm looking at this young dude named Mozart, Wolfgang Amadeus.
Yeah.
That's just a musical genius, composing all kind of huge orchestras and
Right.
doing this thing, and everybody's listening to him, and everybody's just like, wow, this kid is amazing, right? But he's silly as I don't know what. Clown. Right? Then he's composing, writing all this amazing music, and then he'll get missing because he's chasing the little girls around. And I'm looking at this dude who's like,
It's me.
is there like a mirror like somewhere? Because
I see this. I see the scene.
so it was at that moment where I was like,
Wow.
he's me, I'm him. For him, he's classical. So for me, it was like, I want to be the hip hop version of Mozart, Wolfgang Amadeus.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So that was how the whole name came about, and that, you know, and definitely big shoes to fill because he did a lot of composing, a lot of amazing masterpieces that
Right.
that are still played and performed to this day. And this is, I forgot what year it was, but just
He's a
years and
legend.
decades and decades.
I don't
ago.
even know. Yeah,
Man,
this
it's crazy.
legend? I don't know.
Like-
That's Amadeus. Y'all see how he became Amadeus. We're going to show y'all another dope video real quick, and then we're going to get to know him a little bit more before we kick him out. We gotta
Don't
kick
kick
him
me
out.
out,
You know we
man.
gotta go play drums somewhere, something, produce something, all right? So we'll be right back. It's RTS Spotlights, and we got Amadeus in the building. Be right back, y'all.
I'm Zeph Farnby, God's favorite artist, out here in Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, at the Colored Me Bad art exhibit. I'm originally from Chicago, the south side of Chicago, 124th Street in Michigan, and my start pretty much came from doing graffiti art when I was a teenager, well, preteen. So from there, it developed into me going deeper and deeper to perfect my drawing style. And then from there, I got introduced to a Source magazine. This was like back in 1992. In that Source magazine, I saw all the graffiti from New York, Cope 2, Futura, Scene. And then from there, I noticed like these guys had a different style from my brothers. I started when I could pick up a pencil, and it developed into doing graffiti, and from there, going to college, from college, graduating, and trying to figure out which way to go. And that then turned into a business. So I started my own business based off my own skill set. And then from there, I started doing art shows and some everything, freelance projects and all that. My style all developed from a number of things. One, from where I grew up, things that I saw on TV, things that I saw in books, things that I saw in comic books, my brothers, just, you know, the hip hop culture, period. It's really all these things bottled up. And from there, me concentrating that one thing into what I am now. A lot of my work, a lot of people say they could tell that, you know, somebody that's into hip hop or somebody that did graffiti or whatever did that piece because it speaks to them in a certain way. And it's not that I try to do that, it's just, it's already in my soul and it's coming out visually on the canvas. Colored Me Bad is about people who prejudge. So people want to judge a book by its cover when we all are like onions. We have to peel back layers, 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 layers. So this is me exposing what that core layer is.
What up, y'all? It's your girl Lee, and you already know we are back. RTS Spotlight. In case y'all are just tuning in, y'all better get comfy because you know we got somebody official in the building. It is the last episode, and we got the prestigious Amadeus in the building.
Man, I'm happy to be here. Last episode.
Last episode.
Snoop voice.
You know what's crazy? They let us do season 2. You know,
Wow.
they don't always let you. It's
Right.
kind of like Netflix.
Right.
You're like up on the edge.
I can see why. I'm having a great time. You know, the
You're
vibe is
comfortable,
right.
right?
Very comfortable, you know.
Ankles
We both
out.
got our ankles out.
I try to keep them out as much as I can.
See, you a queen though. You could do that. You know what I'm saying?
saying?
Fellas, you gotta watch out because men just have a special relationship with ashiness. And the darker
It's this part right here.
yeah, it
We
can
ain't
get
even
a
gonna
little.
don't zoom in, y'all. But it's the part. Y'all know
It can
the
get
part.
crazy. It can get crazy. So you had to take your time.
And you
really,
said you just got into the like ankle out.
yeah, I tried it today. It's
Okay.
special. I didn't even know this was the last episode. You know what I'm saying? So
It's
y'all
a
getting
special.
This is special, man.
I mean, you wear the right pants for it, because I can tell you now that you're in the club, you can't do the roll up for everything.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
gotta be
I tried it for the first
prepared.
time today.
Yeah.
Had a little issue, because technically,
Okay.
I wore these pants for several different occasions,
Okay.
and I would rather the pants be a little tapered on the bottom, so I can give it a tighter roll.
Yes.
So, for those pant rollers out there, don't you judge me now.
Reach out to him though.
Yeah,
if
reach
you
out.
are
Show me the way.
available.
Show me the way. Show me the light.
Amadeus,
Show me the light.
he wears his pants to really dope shows. He's
man.
around artists all the time. So don't have him out here with the ankles out. Or, if it don't look correct, hit him up.
Yeah. Watch your mouth, though.
Yeah.
You know
Be
what I'm saying?
respectful. Send him an email or whatever. So you grew up in the Bronx. Hip hop for you. I want to know what your hip hop was coming up.
Wow.
What were you listening to?
DOS Effects. Brand Nubian.
These were on cassette tapes, right?
Oh, yeah, these are cassette tapes.
Official.
KRS-One. Grand Pooba. Nice and Smooth.
I'm jealous.
Lil Sean. Gangstar. Everything Bad Boy, of course. Biggest Bad Boy fan in the entire world. Nobody can challenge me on that. Nobody.
That one's taken.
The track grabbed me all the time. I was always into the music first. Like, okay, the beat. Okay, now let me listen to what y'all saying.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Which is why, I really fight for respect for us producers. Imagine if you heard Bodak Yellow a cappella.
Probably wouldn't love it as much.
Imagine if you heard. I don't know, what's your favorite? What's one of your favorite songs?
What is one of my
Favorite,
favorite
all-time
songs?
favorites. One of your favorites.
Okay, so any song that Miguel makes.
Okay.
And then it's very hard to even think about him with no song.
Just think. Right. Just think of it. No music.
Let's do Sure Thing.
No music.
No music.
So he out there doing moves, and he out there kicking with the ankles out. Just
He ain't even got
nothingness.
the guitar, nothing?
Nothing. I just want to know if y'all gonna be screaming and yelling
Nah,
and buying tickets.
that probably wouldn't do it for me.
My point. So and that's why the producer is very important. Without the producer, there's no music. Without the producer, there's no song.
Right.
You've never purchased an acapella album. Now Jay-Z has put one out, but he's put one out after he released the original album with all the music.
Right.
So you're already married to the melodies and
Right.
how those songs were
Stuck
created.
in your head.
So now I think he put it out so that producers could remix it
Right.
and create different tracks to it. But you would never buy an acapella album. I don't care who it was.
Now, I watched The Get Down.
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, what? You're from the Bronx.
I haven't seen it.
You have to see it too, because you have to put your Bronx stamp on it,
Okay.
because it's based on the official hip hop forming
Okay.
in the 70s type of
Okay.
thing. But then also it's very new school. So it's not super factual.
Okay.
But they really talk about the whole, we have the Beat Boys and stuff like that. They weren't too sure about producing back in that day. They would get in the studio and then they would be like, yo, let's lay this down. And they'd be like, what do you mean lay this down?
Right.
I don't really know how to press buttons or do any of that stuff. How do you transfer the musician side into the production side?
Right. It's definitely different. Like, for instance, when I first started producing, I started producing on an actual keyboard.
Okay, nice.
It was a Roland XP50 and technology, of course. But
Right.
at that time, they created the keyboard with a sequencer inside, meaning I can program or create an entire track within the keyboard.
Wow.
The keyboard had all of the drums, everything in that particular keyboard
Okay.
to actually make an entire track.
Got
Now,
you.
the downside to it is, the drum sounds would not be as dope as you would want them. Now, me coming, starting, I don't know that.
Right.
So I'm just using what I have,
Right.
what I'm able to use to create. And once I started taking meetings and label meetings, they were like, yo, man, I think it's cool, but your drums ain't hitting. I kept hearing your drums ain't hitting. And I really took that personally because
Right.
I'm a drummer. So if
Your drums
anything,
always hit.
I'd rather the music be whack and the melodies be terrible, but you love my drums versus
Right.
you saying my drums whack. So I forgot who it was, but they was like, you need to get an MPC.
Okay.
You want to produce, get you an MPC. The MPC drums is banging, right? So figured out a way to get an MPC. Now, MPC is $1,300.
$1,300.
$1,300.
This is a device, right?
Yes, a beat machine, right?
Okay. It's like a beat machine.
But it comes with no sounds. So I'm saying, well, now what? So you have to create your sounds, meaning you got to go get these records,
Wow.
and sample your drum sounds. So that's why the drums
And
were
that's
so
when the
hard.
sampling comes in.
Because you
Wow.
got producers grabbing drums from James Brown and Isaac Hayes and
Right.
the Blue Notes. You know what I'm saying? The OJs, and they live. You know what I'm saying? So that's what drum sounds is coming from. You know what I mean? So I had to figure that out.
Right.
You know what I mean? But the technology now, you go get Logic, you go get Ableton and
Right, I
Pro
hear about
Tools
that.
and $400, $500, whatever the fee is, and they're giving you 5,000 sounds.
Yeah. That they give it to you now.
It's like here. Oh, you want drums?
crazy.
Here's 3,000 drum sounds.
Wow.
Kicks, snares, hi-hats, claps. Oh, you want keyboards? Here's 200 keyboards. Here's 300 bass sounds. When I had to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, technology pros and cons always. You know what I'm saying? I'll even give you another example. Like, back then, if you pick beats, you would buy the beat, and you would go in the studio and you record the beat.
Okay.
Once Pro Tools came about and you were able to demo, now is let me see what I sound like on it. So let me try it. I remember I ain't gonna put him. I was about to put him on Super Blast, but I had to catch myself, man. Nah, I'm gonna say it.
Go for it.
Method Man.
I love Method Man.
I do too. He picked the beat. He was signed to Def Jam at the time.
Okay.
Picked the beat. I think I got paid the first half of the producer fee. And I got a call from like the A&R, and he was like, yo, Meth don't know what to do with it, man. And I was like, huh? I ain't gonna lie though, the beat was crazy. There was a lot going on. It was like one of them experimental joints where it was just crazy.
He was like Method Man.
And he just was like, couldn't figure it out. And in that moment I blamed technology. Because, a few years ago you couldn't try it. You couldn't, you paid for that, you paid for the beat. And you went in there and you figured it out. And if you didn't take it, okay, you didn't take it. But I didn't lose on it on the producer end, or I didn't lose money on my side.
Wow.
You bought it, you bought it. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't use it, you didn't use it. So that was a technology moment when I was like, really?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to be able to, roll with the punches, man.
When did you start breaking into the industry? When did you start being able to know enough people to get these industry meetings and making beats that you were sending out to people that was really listening?
Had like a cheat code. Okay. So we had a family friend by the name of Buck Wild.
Nice.
Who was actually a Bad Boy Hitman producer himself.
Yeah.
Producer Biggie, producer Faith Evans, Missy, so many different artists, Jay-Z, Memphis Bleak. And my mom's friend, they were like, I think he was like the godfather or something. And I remember my mom somehow having a conversation because she would always hang at her friend's house. Her name is Sherry. Right. And she's like, my son is trying to do this beat thing. And she said it just like that. He's like, producer? Like, yeah. So she's like, I let him come to the studio with me and, come check it out. Picked me up one day in some kind of BMW or Benz.
How old were you?
I was young, man. Definitely in high school.
Okay.
Like beginning of high school. Maybe like a freshman,
like
I would think.
15.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, picked me up in some kind of Benz. I didn't even know what it was. It's fly. So we going out to the studio. Come on. I'm like, all right. Get down to the studio. Missy's there. And he's like playing beats with Missy, and I'm sitting there like,
no
Missy,
way.
all right, come on, we're going to go over here. Buster's there. Now, this is all in one night. So not only am I hearing dope beats, but I'm hearing and watching artists pick beats.
Yeah.
And Missy start humming melodies to like ideas and
these
Buster.
are different, very different artists.
Yes. So I remember, and we met with a few different artists. It was like I was 15, 16. I don't even remember all of them, but I remember. And he's like, "Yeah, so this is producing, man. This is how like it all happens." And I remember that went home that night. And I was like, "I want to be a producer." That was that night where I was like, "I'm gonna do this." And I had a in church, the minister of music had keyboards, and he had just bought the keyboard. And I was like, "Man, I want to take this home and figure it out."
Right.
All right, cool. All right, cool. You just bought it like today. Cool, take it home. And I would take that keyboard home every night.
Wow.
Figure it out. And I'm bringing it back to him like, yo, so you do this right here, and then this part right here. And he's like,
But
okay. So, you know, my work ethic, though, man, was just like,
Right.
even as a youngin', I just wanted
all
to make
you.
music. I just want to play drums. Make music, play drums. Y'all going, wait, where we going? Y'all going to Skate Key? Because we had a Skate Key in the Bronx popping. Y'all going to, you know, City Island. Y'all going Boom Boom Band. You're going to movies. I'm being in the studio.
Right.
Studio is my room, by the way, bedroom.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I
right
already
in the
know.
room. You know, I'm going to church. I got to go to church. I got to go to church Tuesday. Wednesday is choir rehearsal. Tuesday is prayer. Friday is church service that I got to play for. Sunday is 2 services. So I'm going to be there in the morning and the night. And, you know, but the
Real
challenge
life.
of that was crazy because I'm in the hood. So I'm dressed up, suit. You know, some services my moms can't make it to. So I'm dolo, you know, getting on the 41 bus,
Right.
riding all in, and coming back home 10, 11 o'clock at night. Walking that walk through the dark
Right.
with a suit on and my drumstick bag, scared to death. Just keep it at
That's
1,000. You know what I'm
expensive,
saying? Scared. You know, I'm a target. But each and every night, you know, for years, you know,
made it
God
home.
had me covered, man. You know what I'm saying? And that was the sacrifices, one of the sacrifices that I made just to be, you know, with my instrument.
Right.
And just to develop as a musician and as a musician and producer. And I remember those nights like it was yesterday, you know, that I had to walk through those alleys and get off the bus and, you know, walk through those projects every night from playing drums and doing what I love to do, you know, fearing like who's going to be in the front of the building that night I ain't know.
Right.
Who's going to be in the lobby. Who's going to get in the elevator when I get on the elevator to see what floor I'm going to. It's like these are all what happened when the elevator's broke. And I got to walk up 10 flights when I know it's a ton of dudes rolling
and the
up,
stairwell
doing
and
all
all
kind of
that.
different things. So, but when you love something and you're passionate about
It's worth
whatever it is, you know, you'll sacrifice, even if it's your life. You know what I'm saying? So it takes that type of energy, it takes that type of dedication to get to where I'm at. You know, because like you said it earlier in the interview, and it's an amazing point. People look at you and they see where you are, you know, but they don't know where you come. They don't know what you've been through. They don't know what it took for you to get to where you are today. You know, and they hate and they become jealous, and it's like, nah, you ain't been through what I've been through. You ain't walked my walk. You ain't have to go through what I had to go through to get to where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? And if you're willing to go through that, cool.
Then let me know. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But people don't understand, you know? That's what I know my parents always used to tell me growing up. When people hate you or they hate on you or hate for something, it's not because they don't
Right.
have
They
it.
really admire
They don't, yeah, and
Right.
sometimes they don't even understand what it is.
Right.
And the thing that I know, especially even the people that still, you know, Google their favorite producer or want to see who made the song, no one understands, and I can say this because I said I grew up with my
Right,
brother
yeah,
being
right.
a music producer.
Right, in the same
since-
household, yeah.
Same thing, music, just trying to learn stuff and trying to find your way.
Right.
At a certain point, physically, you get tired.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
You're carrying these drums, you're carrying these instruments. I already seen the drums. It's crazy. You know, especially living in New York, it's
Right.
not like you had a car, you know,
Right,
you're
yeah,
growing up in
right,
the
right, right,
suburbs.
right.
How do you maintain, especially with the shows, rehearsals, your feet, your hands?
Man, if you was a, you know, people say I don't know how they say that. People say I have soft hands, and I'm like, how? And I'm looking at like the calluses.
You
and,
got the soft over the hard.
right, I
layer.
guess, because the pain and but like you said, man, blood, sweat, and tears. You know,
Right.
in order to make it to where you want to make it to, very tiring. You know, these tours that people want to go to and experience these shows.
Right.
A lot goes into it. Weeks of rehearsal,
Right.
hours of, you know, repetition of playing the same songs and the same changes and cuts all over again, over and over and over, just to make sure that it's perfected to the best of our ability. Because
Right.
at the end of the day, there's no real perfection. It's just you doing, you know, whatever you're doing to the best of your ability. There's
Right.
nothing. There's no song or no instrument or no anybody anywhere. No one's perfect. Steph eventually misses the shot. You know what I'm saying? LeBron misses the pass. Jordan misses the shot. Like, you know, so, you know, are they really the best?
Right.
You know, you hear those comparisons each and every single day. They're all the best at doing their best. It's kind of dope.
You're the go in your own way?
They're all the best by
best
doing their best.
How do you feel about LeBron being on the Lakers?
I like it.
Yeah? Let's talk about it. Really
I like
quick,
it. I'm not a Laker
please.
fan. I'm not a Cleveland fan.
For my real fans, real talk, shout out to Sophisticated Mindset and
yes.
Real Fans,
Shout out
Real
to
Talk.
Sophisticated
We
Minds, my
gotta
brothers,
talk
yeah.
about it real quick.
I like it.
Okay. Gotta know.
He was in Cleveland.
So nervous.
Left Cleveland.
Yes.
Went to Miami.
Uh-huh.
Got a few chips down there. Came back to Cleveland. Home.
Came home.
Promised them a ring. Promised them a championship. Did that. Right? So to me, it's like, what else is there to prove, right? What else is there to prove? Now they're gonna say MJ, he got 6 rings, so much. So we can go back and forth all day long, right?
I don't know.
Now, the whole finals, I'm like, it's just not gonna work.
Every game.
He can't do this alone. Like, I don't care how dope you are. Like, I'm not disrespecting anybody on the team. They're in the NBA, so obviously they're great players.
Listen, an amazing drummer cannot do a whole performance.
That's true. That's true.
It can't happen.
That's true.
He needs a little bass,
Right.
a little something
Little
to
bass,
help.
little keys, little guitar, little.
He ain't getting nothing.
Yeah, I mean.
You
So I'm
think
not
he's
mad.
gonna get something in the Lakers?
I think he is. And as a man, as a father,
Okay.
as a king,
Right.
I respect his decision because it's bigger than the game, it's bigger than the ring, it's bigger than the trophy, it's bigger than everything.
Yeah.
It's about that man's family. You know, he got young princes that are dope in ball, that are doing their thing,
Right.
signed up in school. He has homes in LA. You know,
For
he
real.
has a queen that, you know, so it's a
For
bigger
real.
picture. You know, the people out there can say whatever they want. They can go back
Yeah.
and forth. They can, you know, throw shots. They can throw jabs.
Right.
But he's doing what's best for him and his family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? At the same time, building a legacy. And I ran into one of the OGs in the parking lot yesterday, and I had the LeBron jersey on, the Cleveland joint, right?
Okay.
And he said, "What's up with your man?" You know what I'm saying? you know, he going to LA, and I was like, "Whoa! Before we even start, because I gotta argue, but
course.
before we even start this argument, I'm no Cleveland fan. I'm actually a Knicks fan,
Okay.
right? But I'm a fan of LeBron.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, the jersey was on sale, so cool. Because I went and bought the Cleveland LeBron James jersey, and I bought the Steph Curry jersey. And
Both of them?
Oh yeah, they both on sale. I bought both of them. Yeah, I was ready. So
They let you buy them?
no matter who won, I was gonna be ready.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and fly at the same time. So that was the argument. Hey, yo, what are you doing with? The jersey was on sale, and do I look good?
That's it.
Right. So
Oh, if you would have had them ankles out too.
the angles are definitely out. I mean, not
Right.
not to this extent, you know, because I just had on regular
There was
shorts.
a little hint.
But I threw on little Vans. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know, little high top joints, so it's like partial ankle. You know, part ankle.
Part ankle.
You know, but I love it, man. I love it.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we going.
It's gonna be fun though.
If he brings a chip to LA, I don't want to hear nothing from nobody. Leave that king alone.
Because my network is so large, I'll keep my opinions to myself.
Okay.
But well, it's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah.
To figure out.
LeBron.
My
so
last
it's LeBron,
question
it's
for you.
Lonzo Ball, right? I knew we got to move.
Yeah. How do you feel about the Lonzo LeBron thing? Because
It's a perfect way to fit him
LeBron
along.
is
It's like
not a point
LeBron and
guard.
Kyrie. I'm not comparing it. I'm not. Now, listen,
Okay,
I'm not
okay.
comparing Lonzo to Kyrie. I'm
the
just saying.
relationship.
Yes, the leadership, the teaching, the learning. You know, Lonzo, he's going to take in so much, man. He's going to take in so much information and knowledge, and he's going to be a beast, just like Kyrie.
Right. For the young kings and queens that are dibble-dabbling on their music and they're
Right.
trying to figure out what they love and how to do it, how to figure it out, what can you tell them today?
What do you
Amadeus?
love? You know what I'm saying? What are you passionate about? Go after that. You know, your parents. There's always influence in regards to someone saying you should do this, you should do that. Why don't you be a doctor? Why don't you be a lawyer? But at the end of the day, we all have dreams. We all have aspirations, and at the end of the day, you got to go for that. You go for what you can't live without, what you can't sleep without. You know, you dream of this. Is the reason why each and every single one of you guys are having dreams out there, and that's for it to become a reality. You know, I'm an example. I'm from the bottom. I'm from the Bronx. I'm from the hood. I'm from the drugs, from where they sold drugs, the violence, the gangs. But you know, you can't use that. You obviously can't use that as an excuse to be great. You know, I believed in myself. I kept God first, far from perfect, and I chased after each and every single one of my dreams. I've accomplished so much, produced for over 90 major artists, toured the world with Trey Songz for years, and now I educate, now I teach, now I speak and educate people in the music business. You know what I'm saying? Just to give back, just to show love and push people to live their dreams. So if you're out there, you listening, just like you, I bleed just like you, I cry just like you, blood, sweat, and tears I put in to get to where I'm at today. Far from done, and you can be in the same position, in the same spot, and we can shine together. You know what I'm saying? And we can have these ankles out, man. You want to have ankles out? Put your work in. You heard? So God bless everybody that's tuned in. Appreciate you for having me,
Real
man.
King has blessed our set today and has ended our season well. Amadeus, thank you for joining us. Thank you for that. And you already know this is what RTS Spotlight is all about. We all bleed the same blood and we all put the same sweat and tears into everything that you love and you do in this industry. So we're here to put a spotlight on y'all and to show y'all that the spotlight continues even when you were the hitman, baby. Official tissue in here. RTS Spotlight, y'all. Thanks for joining us. Amadeus, follow him.
Oh, yeah.
See if you could work with him. I don't know how
I'm
much
willing.
it costs.
I'm willing.
But hey, hit him up and join us next season. It's your girl, Lee. Thank you for joining us. RTS Spotlight.